So I just received a missive, a top priority missive that has informed me that apparently today is Saturday. It's the weekend. Now I know there are some debates on whether or not the weekend starts on Friday or on Saturday, but colloquially speaking, Saturday and Sunday is the weekend, and this is going to be the time where we will see an even fiercer battle. The battleground, the World of Warcraft login screen. If you thought queues were still pretty high and not going down that much a few days after the release of the expansion, well, now we have even more people with free time trying to play the game, so you will have to think strategically at when to log in. You will have to start bribing your sisters, your brothers, your mom, your dad, maybe even train your dog at queuing up at 6 in the morning to avoid the inevitable queues that will happen. Now, what are we doing today? Today, I'm trying to save you some time, and I'm trying to get you to get better and receive better rewards in the Maw. Why? Because I realized I can use you guys as my personal punching bag, as my venting machine, no pun intended. When I go into the game and I have the misfortune of meeting some absolutely demented bonobos, I can just come back here and just vent all my frustration of even having been remotely close to these subhumans. So what's going on in the Maw? My problem in this case is that with 3 characters, I can join with 1 character with my friends who I know what they are doing in the Maw, but the other 2 usually are left behind. They're left solo, having to pug, and when I pug, it is quite the problem. Number 1, thanks to this amazing change by Blizzard, pretty much 90% of the people in the Maw have no idea about this, so they will keep signing up for groups and inviting people to groups only to then spend 10 minutes of everyone's time for nothing, because people will meet each other and they will not see each other and they will not know why, and everybody lost some time. The other problem is what you actually want to do in the Maw. Now, I don't want to tell you what to do. You can explore it on your own, try out all the different things. But in general, when you use an add-on called Handy Notes, the usual Handy Notes that's been a thing for a couple of expansions now, what you want to do in the Maw is only do rares. Only do the blue skulls you see in here. The reasoning for this is because the special events, the red things, do not give as much reputation. They don't give you enough reputation compared to rares. So why would you want to do something that gives you less reputation? Particularly when reputation is tied to parts of your story, which is going to unlock additional items that you can purchase from Venari, which can also make you travel even faster in the Maw, which is also why I mentioned in the guide on what to do in the release of the expansion, as well as the video for the Maw, I mentioned that the first few weeks it wouldn't have been about farming Stygia, but it would have been about farming reputation and getting Stygia in the background as a consequence of reputation, not the other way around. Here, I'm even going to give you the path you should follow when you want to grind reputation with Venari. Essentially just go around the outskirts and hunt for all the rares. Now remember that you can take out the 3 rares on the platforms to get the 3 pieces you need to combine together to create the 1 item that you will use to summon the bigger boss once you can get in Perdition Hold. Perdition Hold will require you to reach tentative rank with Venari, which will unlock another part of the story and let you in Perdition Hold. That item is going to be permanent. It has a 1-day cooldown, so you can use it every day as part of your Maw routine, Maw capping routine, which is going to speed up things quite a bit. And you can still hunt those 3 rares for the Stygia and the reputation. So it's just going to add an extra boss for you to take out, an extra rare for you to take out, which is tied to your own item, so you always know it's going to be there. So this is a very nice path. Unless you are in a completely dead server, of course you won't find all the rares. They won't be there, so you will not... If they were, you would be capping at rank 5 without even having time to kill them all anyways. So generally speaking, just follow the path, modify it a little bit based on where the daily quests in the Maw are popping up, obviously. You want to leave space for those daily quests to be completed, and then just leave. Avoid the red dots. Avoid special events. When you go into a zone and you see the bonus objective sound pop up with the exclamation mark next to someone's name, which isn't a rare, just dodge it. It's not going to give you as much reputation. Just don't do it. Leave. It is also going to be very fast. Make a group in Oribos. Make sure that people are in Oribos and not just joining in halfway across the Maw and waste everyone's time. Just start from Oribos, follow your path, be the leader, be the Chad, guide your team, and you're going to be much faster. You won't be spending a ton of time running around, running in circles, getting ganked, because of course you are a Chad, so you have War Mode on. So So this is going to speed up your process in the Maw. Now, other things that happened today, well, for me is that, of course, I finished leveling and I finished doing all the chores on my 3 characters. All the callings, all the Maws, all the Torghasts, all the pre-quests were done, so I had time to go into dungeons. So I want to hear from you, as you will hear from me, about which one are your favorite dungeons, your least favorite dungeons, and then looking at it on a more competitive light. Which ones do you think are going to be harder or just more annoying to you? Not necessarily hard, just not enjoyable to do. So for me, I'm raising my hand right now and say that I fucking hate Plaguefall. That's my Halls of Valor of Shadowlands. It's my King's Rest of Shadowlands. It's super long and it's just filled with poisons and diseases and just annoying abilities. The entirety of the first run to the first boss is probably going to be the most Shroud of Concealment part in the entire expansion because it's just bad, okay? I'm gonna say bad. Just bad. Another one I think can be pretty nasty is the Revendred duo of Sanguine Depths and Halls of Atonement. Particularly Sanguine Depths, there are some abilities that you basically just cannot dodge or avoid. Some abilities, if they are based on skill, they are fine, right? The Craggy Fracture from the Chamber Sentinel, right? The one you have to dodge, that's fine. It doesn't do any damage if you completely dodge it. But something like the Dread Bindings from the Grand Overseer, you know, it's a plus 16 fortified, or maybe it's raging, and you're pushing this guy into raging zone and he starts doing Dread Bindings. It hits everyone, it's undodgeable, and you just have to tank through it. Or just run to Africa. And then of course, Halls of Atonement has the very lovely Dogs of Death. I've already seen my fair share of unaware, slow as fuck Death Knights tanking this and then just realizing, oh wait, these guys hit a little bit too hard, I should escape. Oh wait, I'm a Death Knight. I'm dead. And then of course Trash from the Shard of Alkiaz that you have to tank through. So I think these are pretty sketchy for me right now. Although, at least Halls of Atonement and Sanguine Depths are pretty nice. You know, that they're cool dungeons. They're just harder. Whereas Plaguefall, I just fucking hate it. As far as enjoying the dungeons, the other side and the Halls of Atonement. So the Halls of Atonement gets my double prize for being in both categories, and the other one is the other side. I just like the variety in the types of trash you have to do. As I mentioned, for example, the Revendred dungeons, Halls of Atonement and Sanguine Depths, they have very similar mobs throughout the dungeon. They have recurrent enemies that come back at different parts of the... Whereas the other side is very nice. You have the inner ring of mobs, the inner ring of troll mobs that you have to deal with whenever you want to go into a new branch of the dungeon and then come back to change the branch. And then the entire wing of that part of the dungeon is completely different from the other. So I think it's very nice. And also I think when you look at the abilities that you can see in the other side, I would detail them as honest. Haywire that you have to dodge. You have the spinning guys that you have to run away from. You have the exploding ones. You have the sacrificing zealots that you have to kill before they turn into wannabe a car. Even the night phase zone where you have to keep jumping to not fall asleep. It's just very nice, very flavorful. So I really enjoy the other side. So let me guys know what's your current state about dungeons. Now as we go deeper into the expansion, as we are getting closer to the release of Mythic Plus, we will of course go into more detail into the dungeons. We will go at them maybe not one by one, but by role, by healers, by melee DPS, by range DPS, by tanks, and look at all the dungeons and which are the hardest parts for you, the toughest parts, what you should equip yourself with, particularly when it comes to talents, or all the different dungeons, and the different affixes. That's gonna come in a while. And then of course together with the dungeon videos eventually we will also have raid talk. You know, raids right now are pretty slept on, nobody cares about them, at least for the first couple of weeks. So the videos coming out for raids are going to be not just general boring guides where you just repeat the abilities the bosses do and then say goodbye and that's it. Those videos are going to be about what to do in there as a melee DPS, as a range DPS, as a healer. When should you use your cooldowns as a DPS there? If you have a 2-minute cooldown, when you should use it. If you have a 3-minute cooldown, if you have a 1.5-minute cooldown, which is the best way to use your cooldowns in there. For healers, how do you spread your externals based on your healing composition? what's the toughest part to heal and to prepare yourself for. That's what I think is going to help you the most when it comes to raids. We're gonna do that as well. In the meantime, we can continue this half and half between my personal diary and the news of the day, with some sprinkling mixed in of me using you to vent my frustrations about dumb people I see in the game. With this, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna run away. See you guys soon, and in the meantime, fuck Plaguefall.